Welcome to another video update with some newer stuff and older stuff. Here we go. First up we have this. This is the Amongst the Catacombs of Nusquama by Nile. And Nile is one of the more well-known death metal bands today. They have released 8 full-lengths with What Should Not Be Unearthed is the latest, and it came in 2015, and the band is from Greenville in South Carolina. And Amongst the Catacombs of Nusquama is the debut full-length, and it was released in 98 on Relapse Records. And what we have here is a blasting and brutal death metal record with some Middle Eastern instruments and rhythms woven in. It's 11 tracks and 33 minutes long, and it's very good. Several of the songs are very short. Brown says Bringer of War is the longest, that it's not even 5 minutes long. Opening of the Mouth was the first song I heard with the band some 19 years ago, and it's still my favorite by the band. And my version is a 2015 Relapse reissue, and it's housed in a single jacket, and you get a printed lyric sheet. The vinyl is an orange-yellow merge, apparently limited to 700 copies. Here's a snippet. This is the Black Seeds of Vengeance by Nile, and the Black Seeds of Vengeance is the follow-up to Amongst the Catacombs and was released in the year 2000, also on Relapse. And compared to its predecessor, Black Seeds of Vengeance, it has a much more muffled production. The production is great, don't get me wrong. It feels like they have developed their songwriting skills and even managed to put out not a boring second 9-minute track in the form of To Dream of Ur, which for some reason I got the Runes of Bevrast feeling from. And there are some instrumental interludes, and usually I don't care for that, but Nile does it very nice with some exotic tunes and strange chants. And if I had to pick a favorite song, it's the title track and To Dream of Ur. And my version is a 2015 Relapse reissue. It's housed in a single jacket, and you get a printed lyric sheet with liner notes about each song, which is very interesting. And the vinyl is on brown-orange merge, apparently limited to 700 copies also. And In the Darkened Shrines was the follow-up, and it's not as good as Black Seeds, but still good. And when Annihilation of the Wicked came, I was very disappointed about the productions. It's so far from Black Seeds, and that made me really disappointed, so I haven't really kept up with the band in later years. But here's a snippet. This is The History of Death and Burial Rituals Part 1 by Death Karma. Death Karma consists of 2/3 of Cult of Fire, which I talked about in my last video, and you can clearly hear the similarities both in the riffs and with the organ synths and atmosphere. And their first release was an EP called A Life Not Worth Living, and The History of Death and Burial Rituals Part 1 is the debut full-length, and it was released in 2015 through Iron Bonehead and Necroshine Records. And every track deals with burial rituals from different parts of the world, and they have put a lot of effort into this record with artwork, lyrics and music to each individual song. And there are 6 tracks, and it's 42 minutes long. And all 6 tracks are very, very good, but I think my favorite is Mexico, Chichen Itza. And it's a gatefold, and inside you have a 16-page booklet with awesome artwork and lyrics to the songs. And the record is on standard black vinyl. Here's This is The History of Death and Burial Rituals Part 2. It was released on Beyond Ice on CD in 2018 and on vinyl and tape during this summer. And this is more of the same, and it's very good, although it's not quite as good as the first, but it's still excellent. It's 7 tracks and it's 44 minutes long, and the CD version has 1 additional track. And once again, it's very strong overall, but my absolute favorite is Scandinavia Ship Burial. And it's a gatefold, and you get a very nice booklet with lyrics and artwork this time around also. And the record is on standard black vinyl. You can pick up both of these through their Bandcamp. Here's a snippet. This is The Dead End by Abandon. And Abandon is a sludge doom metal band from Gothenburg, Sweden. And the band was formed in 1998, and prior to The Dead End, they had released 2 full lengths. And The Dead End was released on CD in 2009 through Black Star Foundation and on vinyl in 2011. And the vocalist, Johan Karlsson, died prior to this release, and it's dedicated to him. And this is a monster of an album. It's 11 tracks, but it's over 105 minutes long. And it's mostly slow tempo, and there are a lot of synths and organs and stuff, and desperate vocals. Even though the vocals are quite sparsely used, it sounds a little bit like if Neurosis would have played DSBM. It's not something I listen to daily, but when I'm in the mood for it, The Dead End is very good. And my favorite tracks are Pitch Black Hole, Lost We Are, and Geology 2. And it's a gatefold. And because of the extremely long running time, it's 3 records, all on black vinyl. And it's limited to 275 copies, and I have copy number 200. I don't know where you can pick it up, unfortunately. Here's a snippet. Down the Now it's time for some 2019 releases, starting out with Treacherous Beckonings by Windthrow. And Windthrow is a one-man black metal band from Södermanland, Sweden, and Treacherous Beckonings is the band's first release. It was released on May 7th this year, and the record contains 5 tracks and is a little over 30 minutes long. And what you get here is black metal with some Swedish folk music mixed in. There's nothing really unique about Windthrow, but I like it. And all tracks are good, but my favorite is the closer, More or Less. And it's housed in a single jacket, and I must say the artwork is very, very nice. You get printed inner sleeve with lyrics, and it's hand numbered. And the is on standard black vinyl. Here's a snippet. With some Swedish black metal. This is Nattarvet by Wormwood. Wormwood is from Stockholm, Sweden, was formed in 2014, and prior to this they had released 1 EP and 1 full length, and this was released 26th in July through Black Lodge Records. And the band plays melodic black metal with some Swedish folk elements woven in, but it's used quite sparsely. It's 7 tracks, 54 minutes long, and once again, really good tracks all over, but the 2 best ones are, in my opinion, Arctic Like and the last track, The Isolationist. And it's a gatefold, and you get a printed inner sleeve with lyrics, and it was available on standard black, and this one, limited to 300 copies. And you can order it from their Bandcamp. You can order Windthrow from their Bandcamp also. Here's a snippet. Now we have a CD. It's Thea by the band Glare of the Sun. And Glare of the Sun is from Traunstein in Salzburg, Austria. And the band was formed in 2013 and released their debut full length in 2015. And Thea is their sophomore album and was released June 21st, 2019 through Life Force Records. And the band plays some form of doom post-metal. It's very heavy riffing and the vocals are great. There are 12 tracks and it has a running time of over 66 minutes. The individual tracks are very good, but they are not that different from each other, and since it's over 1 hour long, I found myself getting a little bit bored towards the end. But anyway, I have no idea which my favorite track are, since they don't have names and sounds pretty much the same. If you like one of them, you're probably gonna like all. And it's a CD and you get no lyrics, which is disappointing since they are official. And I bought it through their Bandcamp. Here's a snippet. This is Horizon Ontement or something. It's Dutch by the band Nusquama. As I said, the band is from the Netherlands and I think it's supposed to be anonymous, but according to Metal Archive, some of the members plays atmospheric black metal in two other Dutch bands, Flusteraars and Turia. And Horizon Ontment is the debut full-length from this band or project. It was released in March this year through Eisenwald, and Heresis Novi Magi did the tape release. And the band plays black metal. When I listened to it first, I thought of Death Heaven at times, but it's more sinister and melancholic. And the vocals are high-pitched screams, which was always nice. And the melodies are nice, and the riffs, although quite repetitive, never really offers their welcome. But after repeat listens, though, it's not very memorable, but it's still decent. And it contains 6 tracks, slightly north of 37 minutes, and like with Glare of the Sun, I really can't say there are any standout tracks. And I got a cassette version because it was a blind buy when I ordered some Panzerfaust. And the tape is white and there are no labels or anything, which feels kind of a little bit cheap. And the J card is very nice though, and the Eisenwald still has copies left. Here's a snippet. That was it for today's video. Hopefully someone found something worthwhile checking out. Have a nice day. Bye.